Hi everybody, Sarah at Caddy Girl Garage. So as promised today, we have nice weather, sunshine, the ground is dry finally. So we are going to pull the transmission out on our 1960 Cadillac Limousine here. As I've told you guys in the past videos, the car sat for a few years before I purchased it in indoor storage and didn't get driven a whole lot. The guy who I bought it from was elderly, so he just didn't really mess with the car anymore. So the transmission is slipping a little bit on it, and I like to have all of our cars turnkey, ready to go wherever we want to go. So we're going to pull it out today and get it sent out to be rebuilt so we don't have that to worry about anymore. If you don't know how to do it, we will show you how in this video. It's super simple. Thank you for joining me, and thank you as always for watching. Let's jump in and get started. Okay everybody, so I'm sure a lot of you already know how to do this, but safety first. Since our starter has to come off, we undid the battery so that nothing arcs back there. Just keep everything really safe. Since we're in the engine compartment, we're going to take off the transmission filler tube, which is right there. Everybody knows that. So there's just a little bolt here on the back of the valve cover. Already got it loose with our wrench earlier, so you guys aren't just sitting here watching me loosen bolts. For this. Okay, so here's our filler tube. And it's always so much fun getting in here. So you just pull your pin right here, which we already did that earlier, remove the emergency brake cable. And then these are our transmission linkages right here. So we're just going to undo these. We'll use some pliers. And undo that. This one I think I can get by hand. Yep. Okay. Okay, so there's your pins. Here are your transmission cooler lines. We're just going to undo those. As you can see, everything's already loose, so we're already leaking a little bit. So I have a drip pan below us, kind of a messy job, but we're going to take these off and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so as you can see, we have those cooler lines undone. They do leak, so it's a bit of a messy job. Have some rags ready. All right, moving on to the next step. So here at the very tail end of your transmission, you'll look just under the frame right here, and there's your speedometer cable. Obviously, you're going to have to undo that too because it goes directly into the transmission. So now we'll do that. So there's your speedometer cable. You just gently wiggle it and it'll come right out of its housing right there. All right, so we're just loosening our starter bolts real quick. I've kind of finagled my wrench up through the frame here. Lots and lots of fun. Don't ever let this thing come down and hit you in the face, because if you've never messed with starters before, they are excessively heavy. So just be very careful of that. If you want to remove your oil filter here, it can give you a little bit more space, but I don't really care to do that. I pretty much know what I'm doing, so I'll just work around it. All right, everybody, so we have our starter off, and then I took a picture of how we wired it up to keep it out of the way, just so you don't have to disconnect it. A little bit easier process, saves a little bit of time. Now we're going to take our bell housing cover off right here. These are 1/2-inch bolts right here, so we're just going to start pulling those out and get this taken off. So I will start doing that. So we loosened them with our wrench earlier. I'm just going to take them out by hand now. I'm sure most of you guys probably already know how to do this. All right, so we have our cover off now. So we are going to be taking off the torque converter bolts right here. We are not taking off the flywheel bolts. You can see that there's a difference between these two. So these are the ones you're going to want to remove and not those. So next we're going to take our crossmember out. It's just these bolts right here. One's on the back, and then of course come across and on the other side over here. Got the crossmember out. Okay, so now we're going to remove our rear transmission mount bolts, 2 of them. All right, so my dad made this special little mount here. This is to hold the back of the engine while the transmission is out, because you do have to support it. So if anybody out there needs those measurements, There they are, 9.5 wide by 11 tall, and that will fit right around the back of the engine and support everything nicely while our transmission is being rebuilt.